Welcome to the Loveland All Sports Podcast, where the land of love can get updates on not only Loveland sports, but learn and discuss many sports topics. Shoot any ideas you want to the Loveland All Sports at gmail.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook at the Loveland All Sports Pod. Loveland All Sports Pod is sponsored by Meredith DeWitt of Brittany Fritch Realty, Loveland's #1 boutique brokerage. Contact Meredith for any of and all of your real estate needs at meredithbfteam@gmail.com. This was a fun episode for me because we get to know our first introduction of our new Loveland football coach, Coach Bob Mullins. Hear about his background, his family, his culture, and his plans for the team in the future. He's ready to take on the challenge of being the third coach in 3 years, for he has had success doing that already at his last stop at Monroe. We've had some changes, for this will be the third coach since Andy Cruz started in 2019, but I'm confident in the changes and plans that I learned about, and I want all of you to learn about, and looking forward to what he'll bring to Loveland, starting actually last week. So please enjoy this episode. Awesome. Well, we're here today on a cold Wednesday afternoon, getting to know our new Loveland High School football coach, Coach Bobby Mullins. Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
We're very excited to have you here in Loveland. Not many people are more excited than I am and my family. And as I always say, welcome to the land of love. We just want to take some time here to get to know you, get to know a little bit about your background, your family, what you like to do in the fun time, and obviously a lot about your coaching background and what you're going to bring to Loveland. So just typical Cincinnati style. We always ask where you're from. Tell us a little bit about where home is. Where'd you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Liberty Township, Ohio. I went to Lakota when it was one school, and then when I was in high school, it actually split.
Okay.
And then I went to Lakota East, and then I actually graduated from Lakota West. So I went full circle. Went to more of my friends were at Lakota West, and where the school divided, I ended up at East, and then I went to West my senior year to be with my childhood friends, basically.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, that's great. And then got into teaching or college there?
So
you always been in education?
I started off in the School of Business, and I actually was I played 1 year of college football at Thomas More, but I got hurt.
Okay.
And tore my knee up pretty good. And I think everybody has a timeline when they play football. Like you just know when your time is done. And it was going to be my third knee surgery in 5 years, and I was like, man, I'm ready to not play football anymore. Right. And it was a hard decision, but it was the right decision. And I transferred from Thomas More to Miami University, and that's where I actually changed my major to education. And I wanted to be a part of football, and I wanted to also help students, and that's kind of what drew me into it at first. And I was a social studies major at Miami, and I grew up. My brother had some learning disabilities when I grew up, and I got my master's degree from Mount St. Joe, and I kind of got pulled into the special ed world. Like it just was. Awesome. It was just like I taught social studies for a year at Mount Healthy High School, and then I felt like on the education side of things that I really felt my passion was helping students with disabilities. So I moved over to be a special ed teacher. So, and then
you'll have a role here in the building in our intervention.
Yeah, department? I just got board approved last night. Actually, I was at the board meeting and got board approved. Signed my contract today and sent it over. So yeah, I'll be intervention specialist in the building next year. I'm super excited and to be a part of this school. Yeah,
that's awesome. I've been around Loveland for 20 plus years. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people that have moved to Loveland for our intervention specialist program.
Yeah, you're absolutely accurate on that. During the interview process, they asked me like, what drew you to Loveland? Why Loveland? That was one of the questions that they asked me. And I said, well, I think your guys' culture and your community speaks for itself. It's outstanding. And that has to do with like the people that live here. and the people that work here. Like, it's just a really good culture, a really good place to be. And that's exactly what I told them.
That's great. Yeah, you'll get to know Regine Connor if you haven't met her yet. She's in the department. She was a mentor to my daughter when she was playing basketball here, and it's a great program. I've heard nothing but great things about it. So thank you for that. So so you've been teaching since college?
Yeah,
I've been coaching football since college.
So I've got, I actually started coaching football. I've been coaching football for 22 years. Because I started coaching football during my student teaching.
Okay.
I did my student teaching at Princeton High School, and I started off as a 9th grade freshman football coach. They kind of, like, I didn't want to coach during student teaching because student teaching is really hard when you're a college. When you're in college, you just don't want to do that because it takes up a lot of your time. And they're like, "Come on, we don't got anybody else. We know you played." And I'm like, "All right, I'll do it." And the rest is history.
Right.
I was hooked, and I really loved it, man. And so I've been coaching ever since then.
Where are some of your other stops?
So I did coach a couple years there at Princeton, and then my first teaching job out of college was at Mount Healthy High School, but I coached at Princeton still.
Okay.
So I met Curry Cummins, was the head football coach at Mount Healthy High School, and Curry hired me at Oak Hills to be the defensive line coach at Oak Hills, and I had just gotten a special ed job at Oak Hills. So I ended up spending 7 years as the defensive line coach at Oak Hills. Lots of great coaches there, man, like lots of good people that I learned a lot from. Curry decided to resign after 7 years, and then I moved. From there, I actually took a teaching job at Princeton. I just got married, and I was living in Liberty Township, and I was driving to Oak Hills all the way to the west side of Cincinnati. I loved the drive. It was like
a little break.
It was like meditation time,
right.
Like the silence before the storm. It was great. But I didn't want to coach with the new coach there. I had a great relationship with Curry, and I really wanted to explore some other opportunities. And I ended up landing at Lakota West High School with Larry Cox, and I was the defensive line coach there and the special teams coordinator. And I coached 3 years there.
Okay.
And then I moved closer to home, and I coached. I think it was 5 years. I coached with Coach Haynes at Lakota East and was the outside linebackers coach there. And while I was there, along the journey, it's crazy because when you're young, I really wanted to be a head coach. I was a finalist at Oak Hills. I was a finalist at Princeton when they had openings. And I kind of got disenfranchised about it because nobody's going to take a chance on me because I don't have any experience. And while I was at Lakota East, I finally was like, you know what? This head coaching stuff, I made the decision that I'm going to stop pushing the issue. Like, I'm going to be happy where my feet are.
Right.
And when I started to be happy where my feet were at, is when opportunities started showing up for me. One of the guys that was one of our offensive line coach, he ended up being the principal at Monroe. We had just come off at Lakota East. We had just come off a really good season. I believe we were 8-2. And we were just won against Mason in the playoffs, and we were out eating dinner after the game, and we bumped into the Monroe administration team. They were just happened to be at the same place we were at. The principal was there, the AD was there, the assistant principal was there, and Tom Prohaska was the principal at Monroe. He's like, "Hey man, we're getting ready to post our head coaching job. I think you should apply." And I was like, "Tom, I really don't want to apply. I'm pretty happy where I'm at."
Right.
He goes, "No, I think you got a really good shot. Like, we'd love to talk to you." And I was like, "Man, I'll go ahead and apply." And I applied, and we got all the way through the process. I got the job, and then I spent 5 years at Monroe. So that's kind of the journey as the head coach at Monroe. So that's kind of the coaching journey. The teaching journey was a little bit different. I was at Oak Hills, then Princeton, then Monroe. Okay. So less stops in the teaching side.
Well, what's great, we talked about before the mic's on, just to make it personal for me, it's funny that you were coaching at Oak Hills when my brother was running around at Sycamore, back in 2008, 8, 9, 7, whatever that was. It's pretty awesome that you were trying to stop number 7 for Sycamore. It's pretty cool.
He was an excellent player. We chased him around a lot, and they had some really good teams in that stretch. Like they were solid.
With Tom Adams, and then Datillo's first year, they went to the playoffs. They did well, beat Coleraine. My brother had mono, and actually, I don't know where they get it from, but my parents decided he's playing with mono, and I think he had 3 touchdowns and beat Coleraine with mono, which you couldn't do that nowadays. They'd arrest you or something. So that's great. Thanks for that background, Coach. Let's talk about what's most important. 3 kids and a wife, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm a family man. I believe in family values, and I have three boys at home. They're 12, 10, and 8. Jacob is my oldest. He's 12, like I said, and then Joey's my middle one, and then Mikey's our baby of our family. And my wife, Jen, she works at LASIK Plus in Cincinnati and Kenwood. So if anybody wants to get LASIK, just let me know.
There you go.
But
that's where I got my LASIK done there 22 years ago, so I can't say one bad thing about it.
So awesome. That's it. And we're a football family, and you will definitely see the boys out on the field on Friday nights. And I already brought them over to Loveland. We went to the basketball game on Tuesday night last week when we beat the blue team up the road.
I loved your comment.
So
I texted that to Coach Reese from the email you sent. I said, "Hey, Coach, look at this from the baby blue team."
Yeah. So my boys were going crazy in the stands. It was they were hooting and hollering, and what a great, that was my first Loveland sporting event, and I got to tell Coach Reese, I'm spoiled now. He's got to deliver on that every time I come out, right?
So they're on a run, man. They won big last night, and they beat.
I tell you what, man, I'm a basketball guy. I love basketball, and they play really hard, and they're very aggressive. And I was just super impressed with how hard they played.
Yeah, they really are, and it's. Coach Reese and I coached when his son and my son were little. We coached together, and we got in trouble one time because they said we played too hard at defense. I said, well, the varsity basketball coach was sitting next to me on the bench, and the boys were in 2nd grade, right? So this is 8, 9 years ago. You're playing too hard at defense. I'm like, there's no such thing as that to Coach Reese. So that's great. So Jason Bruce said that you are a man of character, is truly going to lead our entire program. That's a pretty bold statement. So with all that you've said, what is your favorite part of coaching high school football?
Oh, man, I'm a relationships guy. I took last year off, to focus on family and just to take some time away from the game and reanalyze whether I wanted to coach or not. And the one thing that I can tell you that I miss the most is the relationships with the kids, and the relationships with the assistant coaches. And those 2 things I think are probably the top of my list. I just really missed the interaction with the kids, outside of the education setting. It's different, and you can build more intimate relationships, with those kids, as far as getting to know them, off the field. You get to know their personalities better, and you're helping them do something that they truly have passion about. And I have passion about football too. So it's we're seeing eye to eye, and you just want to help them be their best. And that's probably, for me, the top of my list is the relationships piece.
And that's what football brings that most other sports don't. They all do, but football, even Tom Brady, the GOAT, the best ever, whatever, you ask him what he misses, the relationships, the locker room, all the way down to the high school level. That's what we miss, and it's pretty cool seeing that. There were 33 applicants for this position, which is absolutely awesome, and several of them were head coaches. And Jason Bruce says that he was impressed with how you turned over the Monroe program over your time there. Talk a little bit about that, how you turned them around, and it's a similar situation here at Loveland.
Yeah, it's kind of creepily similar.
Right.
It's the reason that it's similar is to give the listeners a little context. Is when I took over at Monroe, I actually took over for somebody that was only there for 1 year. On an interim basis at Monroe. And they had 3 coaches, and they might have had 4, I can't remember, but They had 3 coaches. Here they had 3 coaches in 3 years, right?
No, we had Cruz was here for 5 and Dave went for 1. Oh, you mean at Monroe?
Yeah, at Monroe. My bad. Nope. Yeah, so, and I would be the 3rd here.
Yeah,
so,
correct.
So
3 and 3. Got it.
Yep. So
my bad.
So very similar situation, but at Monroe we started off with 39 players on our football team when I took over. Like it was, I walked in and I was like, guys, we got to get some more like bodies in here. When I left Monroe, they had 83 players on the roster. One of the things that we did was we built a foundation of that we were going to be based on hard work, and we really worked those kids pretty hard in the weight room and created a culture where we were accountable. And, you know, I got to give the kids credit. I mean, they were thirsting for direction. They wanted somebody to lead them, and we provided that for them. And they showed up, they worked hard, and, you know, we ended up winning a lot of football games there, won a championship. So it was really cool. Good.
Do you well, Miami grad, so Miami's been doing well. Do you follow college and pro?
I do. I am a Red Hawk for sure, and I follow them not as closely as I probably should, but I do follow them. I am in a long lineage of Ohio State Buckeyes, so we're living large right now. Right, but my family, like my great grandfather, was in the Ohio State band, and then my grandfather is we are Buckeyes through and through. We are scarlet and gray, so we watch it every week. My kids, they call Michigan the team up north. I mean, that's just who we are. Definitely, and we're also huge Bengals fans. Okay. We are Cincinnati people. I cheer for the Bearcats too in football. It's kind of weird. When I grew up, I would cheer like crazy for the Ohio State Buckeyes for football, but I'm a UC basketball fan.
Especially back then, right?
Like you're talking about, like I grew up when Huggins was it was like Van Exel, and they just went to the Final Four. Like I think I was 92, and I was probably, I don't know, 8 or 9.
Okay.
So and then you talk about all the other good teams that he had, the Kenyon Martins and the Danny Fortsons. So grew up a huge UC basketball fan. So I cheer for UC football and basketball. But I'd say that, you know, when push comes to shove, I'm a Buckeye through and through. But I do cheer for the Cincinnati sports teams like crazy. Reds, Bengals. I get into it with people sometimes. I'm like, why are you rooting for Pittsburgh? Like, you're from Cincinnati. Like, what's wrong with you? You didn't even grow up there.
Right.
So, but yeah, Cincinnati Bengals all the way, man.
That's the best part about sports is you know, the arguments, especially living here. You know, you get, you know, obviously a lot of Buckeye fans, but then you get the Michigan fans. And you got guys like me that, you know, I'm an Indiana football fan. And there's like 5 of us around here, and it's like, dude,
you guys had a great year this year.
Have a good year. So when you're watching college and pro, are you able to be a fan, or do you find yourself pulling out the phone or getting a notepad out and taking notes on what they did?
That's a fantastic question. I will tell you this. When I'm watching the Cincinnati Bengals and I'm watching Ohio State, I'm a fan.
Okay.
Like, there's no way I'm pulling out a piece of paper to write down, because I'm like, I want to see what happens the next play. Like, I want to see what Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are going to do. Like, I want to see it. But, however, if I'm watching, like, a game that doesn't mean anything to me and I see a play or something that I like, I definitely do scribble some notes down. I find myself, like, listening to post-game interviews and things like that, writing quotes and things down more so than anything. You know, and just that type of stuff really, like, the leadership piece is what I'm very interested in.
Right. Great. Well, let's take a little break on, let's enter what I call Josh's smoking seat, where we'll get a chance to know you a little bit better. I'm going to rattle off 10 questions, rapid fire, and just you can answer any way you'd like. So, Skyline or Gold Star?
Skyline.
LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan.
Did you stay on the Bengals bus for the 31 years of no playoff wins?
Yes.
I think we heard
all aboard. Front row seat.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
What's your first concert?
Oh, man. Kid Rock.
Oh, that's a great one. Nice. When you're making cereal, do you put the milk in the bowl first or the cereal first?
Cereal first.
No, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. When you're making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, do you put peanut butter on both pieces of bread or on just one?
Just one, but I put a lot of peanut butter on there.
Okay. If money is no object, what sporting event would you like to attend?
The Super Bowl.
Okay, great. And last one, what historical sporting event do you wish you saw live?
I would love, I don't know if it's historical or not. I want to go to the Army-Navy game. I've never been, and I think no matter what year you go to, it's going to be historical. But I would love to go to that game. So that game probably for me would be the top of the list. I'll go one day.
Yeah, that's great. I got a college roommate of mine. He's been to numerous, and he just says you got to find a way to go because it's awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks. Just a fun way to get to know you a little bit. What's your most memorable game that you've ever coached?
Well, it's not too long ago. So Monroe, the year that we won the SWBL championship, we were tied with Bellbrook going into week 10. We had to play Eaton at the time. Eaton was 9-0, and they were basically killing everybody. They were pretty good that year. We had to win to win the league. We had some key injuries in some critical spots, and we got the game. We kept the game close, played great on defense. My gosh, the defensive kids played awesome that game. Offensively, we were they had our number a little bit. We got to the second half. We were down, I think we were down 2. We were down 2. We were down 2 in the second half. We had the ball with like 38 seconds left. We put together a quick little drive, and our kicker went out there and kicked a 42-yard field goal right down the middle, and we won the game with like 4 seconds left to go in the game. And what was awesome about that was the coach's reaction. So I got to tell you, this is fantastic. You guys are going to love this. I had coaches on the sideline that weren't able to watch. Like they're turning around to face the bleachers because they were so nervous about the kick. And I was like, turn around, he's going to kick it right down the middle. So it's just such a great memory. And we had like, I know that they got some like student media stuff here. There was a guy at Monroe that would do videos and stuff, and he got some just incredible shots of the kids after the game. And our big 6'3" offensive lineman, he scooped our kicker up and carried him like 30 yards off the field. The kicker's mom, who's a friend of mine on Facebook, every year when it pops up on her memory, she reposts it and sends it to me. And I'm just like, man, what a great memory that was. And what was really cool about it was the seniors that year. They had never had a winning season. Not in youth, not in junior high, not in freshman, not in JV. They had never won until that year, and they won a championship. Wow! On a last-second kick. So that's a memory that those kids will have forever, and that's probably my favorite one.
So going the other way, is there maybe when you played or when you coached, obviously, if you have one play that you could do over, do you have a story on that?
Oh yeah. So we were playing Western Brown at Monroe, and I can't remember. I think it was to go to the Elite Eight in the state of Ohio. Might have been the Sweet 16, but I think it was the Elite Eight. We had a play on the goal line where Drew Novak, who was a pretty good quarterback, he's got all the records in the state of Ohio for passing yards and touchdowns, all that stuff. Really good player, great kid.
He's up at Ashland now.
Yes, he's at Ashland.
Yep.
Seconds are ticking away at the end of the game, and they've got the ball. We're winning. I think we're up. Don't quote me on this, but we're up by 4, I think. They got the ball. They're driving. They're going in to score. There's not much time left. He reaches the ball across the goal line. Ball gets hit by one of our guys, goes up. Very similar to the Hubbard.
Oh, yeah.
The Hubbard fumble.
Rumble in the jungle.
Except one official had it as a touchdown. One official says he wasn't in. They meet. They say, touchdown, he's in. If I had that play over again, I wish we would have better officials.
Oh, man.
But so if you ask the Western Brown people, he was in. If you ask the Monroe folks, he was out.
Right.
And so that play right there, probably I would love to have that one over again because that team that we had that year, I believe we could have made some noise. Like we would have been a tough team to knock out. But Western Brown was good. So it was a tough game for us.
Wow, that's amazing. Great, thanks for sharing. What about favorite sports movie? Do you have a favorite one?
Yeah, this is kind of Major League.
Oh,
is probably. One. I mean, it's I love it, and I can watch it 1,000 times and laugh every single time.
Anytime it's on, you can pick it up at any spot. That's a good one. What about the best athlete you've ever coached or played against?
All right, so the best athlete that I ever coached is Spencer Ware, that played at Princeton.
Right.
I coached him when he was in 7th grade. He's on my basketball team, actually. And then as he came up through the ranks, I coached some actually really good players at Princeton. I coached Carlos Hyde, too, when he was at Princeton.
Okay.
But I would say probably the best athlete that I ever coached was.
And he went on to Wake Forest?
No, Spencer went to LSU.
LSU.
And then he played for the Chiefs and a couple other teams too. But he was like just athletically gifted beyond anything that I've ever seen. So him number one. And then what was his second part of the question?
No, just or maybe that you played against.
Oh, that I played against? Oh, man.
It doesn't matter.
Well, no, going back when I played, probably the best player that I played against, there's two. I played against Vince Harrison. That's an old name. That's an old Princeton guy.
Okay.
Vince Harrison was the quarterback at Princeton in 1997, 98, 99, I believe.
Okay.
And just an unbelievable athlete. He's a coach in minor league baseball now.
Oh, really?
And then the second one, probably 1A, 1B with those two, is a guy named B.J. Askew. He played at Coleraine, played against him. He went on to Michigan and played.
Right. That's right. I remember that name.
And he played in the NFL too. He was a stud.
Right.
But yeah, those two are probably top of my list.
Good. So let's talk a little bit about here at Loveland a little bit more. So talk a little bit about your coaching philosophy.
Well, I believe in developing a strong culture of accountability. So that's probably number one. Getting into the X's and O's a little bit. I believe in ball control. I believe in limiting the other team's possessions. I believe in a strong defense and very good special teams. I believe in making sure that you don't do things that are going to get yourself beat. So I would say that I'm a fairly conservative coach, but I'm not afraid to take risks at the same time.
Okay.
But I like to take calculated risks.
Makes sense.
So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I do believe in that culture piece first. Like, I don't care what you run, like what type of offense or defense you run. If that culture's not right, that locker room's not right, you're not going to be able to do anything. So that's the part of it that I believe in, and building strong guys in the weight room that are disciplined and that can hold accountable. And I told the kids this: the best teams that I've ever been a part of are the ones where the kids run the locker room. The best teams I've ever coached are the ones where the team polices themselves.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I believe in, and just pushing that type of leadership with the kids and making sure that they hold each other accountable.
Awesome. Too early to determine some 2025 team goals? Have you thought about that?
I've got a couple that, obviously we want to win, right? Like, that's a goal. Like, we want to win. I've told a couple of the seniors this, because I've been doing some senior meetings. One of my personal goals, and I'm not going to get into team goals yet because I don't have the staff completed yet, and we'll do that together as a coaching staff. But one of my personal goals is to make sure that we create a positive experience for the outgoing seniors. This is their last year. I want to make sure that we knock that out of the ballpark. I really want to make sure that each one of those boys has a positive experience their last year. Like I said earlier, they've had three coaches. They're going to have had three coaches.
Right.
And, I just want to make sure that it's good for them.
Good.
Some of the best relationships I have with the Monroe kids are some of the guys that I only had for 1 year.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I replicate that here to make sure that those kids have great memories.
Awesome. Good to hear. Good to hear. I read one of the articles about you, your year-round dedication to the weight room. What have you seen so far with Coach McGarity? It sounds like you've known him from the past, so it's pretty awesome.
I've known Coach McGarity. He coached the wide receivers at Lakota East when I was the outside linebackers coach, so I know him. I got to tell you, I've been super impressed with the Loveland players since I've been here. They definitely have a culture of accountability and hard work. They definitely are passionate about what they're doing in there, and I've been very impressed with that. You can tell that Coach McGarity's put a lot of time and energy in developing what the weight room culture needs to look like. So not a whole lot to do there other than to fine tune a couple things and add my stuff to it. And Sean and I see pretty much eye to eye on. He's a football guy, right? So he understands what we need to be able to do on Friday nights. So it's been a pretty smooth transition so far. And like I said, I've been very impressed with the Loveland kids. I think it says a lot about them.
Well, Coach McGarity's a former podcast guest, so if you haven't heard his show, you can go back and listen to it from a few months ago. What about any of your assistant coaches that you can talk about? Talk about them a little bit.
So I'm in the process of. It's still early in the process. I have hired two coaches. I've hired a defensive backs coach. His name is John Bauer. He was with me at Monroe, and I've also hired a wide receivers coach that actually coached with me at Oak Hills, and he's a teacher at Sycamore. His name is Andy Winkle. He actually lives in Loveland. He lives actually, I think, across the street from the high school.
Oh, great.
So he probably awesome. Could walk to practice. Yeah. So it's good to have somebody from the community like on our staff. And then I'm in the process of interviewing. I've interviewing coach. I got an interview with a coach on Friday. I've interviewed the possible OC and the possible DC. I'm not going to mention any names yet because we're still early in the process. Right. But definitely some really good coaches, and I still got to interview a couple guys that were on the staff last year and see who's going to stick around. So.
Great. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. The ECC, I mean, you've been a football guy in Cincinnati, and I know what we hear about the Public School League, the GMC, but talk a little bit about your observations on the ECC.
Well, first I'll say that Southwest Ohio, I think, has got some of the best football in the United States. The GMC is a great league. I coached in it for many, many years. But then my most recent stop was the SWBL, and there's a really good coaching and really good football in that league. But to go with the ECC to talk about that, and it's one of the best conferences in the state of Ohio. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, you've got 9 conference games that you got to play. Right. Everybody is good. Right. And you've got to show up every week and play your best, or you're going to get beat. No doubt about it. And the coaching is really good. There's some really good coaches in the league. I know a lot of them. When I was at Lakota East and Lakota West, we played Anderson. So, right. And when I was at Oak Hills, we played Anderson, and we scrimmaged Winton Woods. So, I've been in the GMC, and we've played some of the ECC schools, and heck, we played Loveland. When I was at Lakota East, we played Loveland, and there were some battles.
I remember that game.
We won them when I was at East, but it could have went either way. Right. And that was one of the reasons why I applied for this job, was because I was like, man, the Loveland kids are tough. Yeah. Like, I remember playing against them. Like, they battled. We had more troops. We had bigger players, and there were some battles.
I think it came down to a 2-point conversion or something.
Yes,
in that game.
It did.
2014. I drove to Oxford to watch that game. I didn't have a kid on the field, so if it shows how ate up we are about Loveland football, there you go. Well, that's great. Yeah, we're looking forward to getting better in the ECC. We competed in all games this year. This past year we competed. The running clock wasn't put on many games. It was a lot of competition. We just missed like one touchdown here or there, and the record would have been much different. So we're looking forward to a good season. In closing up, anybody that you want to thank or talk about throughout your process here at Loveland?
Yeah. So I got to tell you, I've been super impressed with the entire interview committee that. At each level, I interviewed, with obviously Jason Bruce. He does a fantastic job, and I met with the superintendent. A lot. I mean, it's just. I said this at the board meeting last night. I'm going to quote Woody Hayes: "You win with people," and Loveland's got some fantastic people, and. Every step along the way, I was just blown away with how great each piece of the committee was. So I would tell you that every person that I've met here has been fantastic to me so far. And, when you go into a coaching interview and teaching interviews, like they're not just interviewing you, you're interviewing them as well. Yeah. And I was just, I was blown away by how awesome this place is. And, I was like, it was just a perfect fit for me. I went home and told my wife, I was like, man, I really think this is going to be a really good fit. Just really excited and feel very blessed to be with such a great group of people.
That's great. Yeah, we've been here 21, 22 years, and unfortunately, we have the levy situations going on, but what that does is it brings out the opportunity where people will help. People will do anything in this community. You just ask. And people will help, from fundraisers, from boosters in the mulch drive to the Tiger Ball to you name it, to youth sports. Our youth programs are phenomenal. I mean, everybody volunteers to do so many things. All people have to do is ask, and it's usually good people that are raising their hands to help, and it makes a pretty awesome community. Anything else to add as we're closing up?
I don't have anything else.
Awesome.
This has been great.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach. It's been great to get to know you. Hopefully the listeners will get to know you now, and then we can start off like we've known each other for years instead of waiting until September, whatever, when the first game is. But it's been great. I speak for so many people that welcome you, and we look forward to the season, what you're going to do for our boys in the community and compete in the ECC. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. This episode is sponsored by Cappy's Wine and Spirits in downtown Loveland. Tap room, bottle shop, meeting place, great music, gift ideas, and a traditional watering hole. Visit Cappy's this Saturday for the Loveland Boys basketball fundraiser. Hope you all enjoyed this episode with Coach Mullins. Always looking for other ideas and share great sports stories, so please send any ideas to me at lovelandallsports@gmail.com. Peace.